In this world, she had become a ghost, a stain on the cold stone, unseen, forgotten. Her hope had frozen solid. Her future was the next breath, the next shiver, the end of the line. But on this silent night, a man and his daughter walked toward the light, oblivious to the tragedy in their path. Until a child's eyes saw what adult eyes had learned to ignore. They saw the truth no one else could. She broke the protocol. She shattered the unspoken rule. While her father's world stood still, hers moved with a purpose only innocence knows. And there, on the sacred ground where she felt most abandoned, she was offered the one thing she thought she'd lost forever. In that child's gaze, the walls came down, the armor of survival cracked, and for the first time in years, she felt seen. The city held its breath beneath a blanket of winter. On the corner, an old stone church stood sentinel. Inside, golden warmth pulsed, a heartbeat in the frozen world. But on the wide, gray steps, Elara wasn't just sitting. She was disappearing. Her coat had faded, a single thread unraveled from the cuff. The cold wasn't just outside her. It was inside, growing with every shallow breath. In her lap, her raw hands cradled a photograph, an entire lost universe. She tried to hum a fragment of a song, but the sound died in her throat. A brittle thing. Down the block, two figures moved. Leo walked with purpose. His daughter Mia was a burst of crimson. "Daddy, look, I'm a snow angel factory," she declared. As they turned the corner, the church rose before them. Leo saw her. His system went on alert. Practiced caution. "Let's use the side door, sweetheart," he said gently. But Mia stopped. Her head tilted. The wind swirled snow around Elara. Mia's voice was a clear bell. "Daddy, her heart is crying." Leo felt the words. He looked again and saw a person. A spine bowed by weight. "Mia, we should go in." But her hand was already slipping from his. She turned toward the gray figure on the stone. She climbed. A small, bright ship sailing toward a dark shore. She stopped one step below Elara and waited. A silent question hung in the frozen air. "Do you see me?" The world reduced to lamplight, two faces, and mingling breath. Elara blinked slowly. Who was this creature looking at her with gentle knowing? Mia's arms opened slowly. An offering. "Can I give you a hug? You look like you need one." Inside Elara, a war raged. Every instinct screamed to shrink away. But a deeper part cracked open. Her throat was a desert. All she could manage was a nod. The hug was a homecoming. Mia wrapped her arms around Elara's neck. For 3 seconds, Elara remained rigid. Then, a sound escaped her. A broken intake of breath held for a year. She wept. Walls of grief crumbled into dust. Her entire history poured out. Leo watched. The CEO, the widower, these identities fell away. He was just a man witnessing a sacred transaction. His fingers went to his scarf. A gray talisman. As he unwound it, he felt not loss but purpose. He didn't speak. He leaned down and draped the scarf over her shaking shoulders. It was still warm. The gesture said everything. "You are here. You are seen." Elara lifted her face. "I don't understand. Why would you?" Mia, still holding on, whispered, "Daddy says hugs are how hearts talk when words get too heavy." Leo's voice was rough. "Come inside, just to get warm." But Mia made the decision. She grasped Elara's cold fingers. The touch was electric. A circuit completing. That touch was the final anchor. Leo pushed the door open. A wave of sound and warmth engulfed them. Elara hesitated on the threshold. And as she crossed, a folded square of paper slipped from her pocket. It landed on the step. The snow began to cover the faint pencil lines. "Dear Mom, I'm sorry." Word by word, the past was erased. Making room. By the fireplace, the noise was a distant roar. Here it was quiet. Elara held a mug, heat melting the permafrost in her core. Mia sat beside her, a furnace of trust. Mia pointed. "Your necklace is pretty. It's like a tiny bird." "It's a music note," Elara whispered. A treble clef. Did it come from a bird? A breathy sound escaped Elara. No. It came from my mom. The words opened a door. Elara spoke of an apartment that smelled of rosemary, of her mother playing an out-of-tune piano, of a lullaby about a bear in the stars. She gave me this when I turned 13, said, "The world will try to make you be quiet. This is to remind you to always sing." She spoke of becoming a music teacher. Then her voice dimmed. Then she got sick. After she was gone, the music just stopped. The silence wasn't empty. It was loud. It screamed. Leo looked into the flames. "You don't need to be sorry. Silence after loss. I know that scream." He spoke of his wife, Claire. A Tuesday. Cupcakes. A red light. 1 minute, I was texting her. The next, I had to explain to a 4-year-old that mommy wasn't coming home. He spoke of the silence in their house. Mia not speaking for months. I thought I'd lost her too. Then, the morning of burnt toast. A shrieking alarm. And from the stairs, a tiny voice said, "Daddy, you're a bad cooker." She found her way back to joy before I did. She taught me how to follow. The three sat in the wake of shared stories. 3 survivors drifting into the same current. Mia leaned her head against Elara's arm. "I like your story. And I like your necklace. And I like you." Later, Mia locked her hand with Elara's. "You have to come home with us." Leo knelt to her eye level. "One night. A warm bed. No strings. Just come be warm." Elara looked from his steady eyes to Mia's imploring ones. The known cold versus terrifying warmth. Her breath hitched. Then one slow, definitive nod. It was the bravest thing she had done. Leo's house absorbed her. A place of soft edges and quiet history. Claire was everywhere. Not a haunting, but a foundation. Elara's first morning. The guest room was a sanctuary. A note on the pillow. These were Claire's. She'd be glad they're keeping someone warm. Elara pressed the pajamas to her face and wept cleansing tears. A week became a routine. Elara walked to school. The first time at the gate, she felt like an imposter. Then the doors burst open. Mia spotted her instantly. "Elara!" she screamed, launching into a hug. That was the moment Elara became simply Elara. The walk home was filled with chatter and laughter. A sound Elara had forgotten she could make. One afternoon, Mia dragged her to the piano. "Play something." Elara's hands hovered. "I don't know if I remember." "Just try." She pressed a key. Then another. Her fingers remembered. She played her mother's lullaby. Halting wrong notes, but it was music. Her voice returning. Mia rested her head on her arm. Leo, listening unseen, felt something unlock. The next day, a piano tuner arrived. Elara ran her fingers over the keys. Perfect. She caught Leo's eye and gave a small, trembling smile. He returned a nod. No words were needed. New boots appeared by the door. Her favorite tea showed up. He never announced these things. They were manifestations of care. One evening, reading to Mia at bedtime, the child murmured half asleep, "You tell stories like Mommy did." The words settled over Elara like a sacred mantle. Later, she told Leo in the kitchen. "She does that," he said. "Finds the connections." A comfortable silence fell. The architecture of a new family, built beam by beam. On Christmas Eve, the neighborhood glowed. Mia stood on a small stage, nervous. Elara whispered, "Just sing to me. Sing the bear song, just for us." Mia took a deep breath and began. Her voice, a tiny thread, grew stronger. The lullaby about the bear finding its family in the sky. The crowd stilled. When she finished, applause thundered. Mia leaped into Elara's arms. "We did it. We sang our song." Over her head, Elara's eyes met Leo's. In his gaze, a deep, settled certainty. Later, on the back porch, Leo admitted, "I'm scared. Letting someone in feels like building a sandcastle where the tide comes in." Elara wrapped her arms around herself. "I'm scared of believing this is real, that I get to have this. Trusting feels like walking off a cliff." He turned to her. "But the thought of you walking away, terrifies me more. Because you're not a sandcastle, Elara. You're the foundation. He closed the distance. His hand cradled her cheek. Their lips met. Promise. A homecoming. From the window. I knew it. My hug worked. They broke apart, laughing. 6 months later, spring on the church steps. The stone remembered. Leo knelt. Elara, 6 months ago, my daughter gave you a hug and saved your life. What I didn't know then was that she was saving mine, too. You didn't just find shelter. You brought life back. You helped us rebuild a home. My heart wasn't broken beyond repair. It was waiting for the right key. Be that key. Stay. Forever. Tears streamed down Elara's face. Yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes. He slid the ring onto her finger. Mia sprinted up the steps and launched into them. See? I told you. Hugs are magic. They stood together. A new family forged from kindness. A little girl's hug hadn't just offered warmth. It had offered a future. A reminder. Hope arrives in the quietest form. A small voice asking, "Can I give you a